We are now day 2 into New York Comic Con, and we just had the panel from Hasbro, the Action Brands panel that had all the Transformer stuff. We also had a live stream from Nate and Evan, and there's tons of information there. A whole bunch of stuff was dropped on us, new photos, new images, prices, pre-orders, dates to look forward to. We're going to go over it here today on the Transformer Slag podcast and give you all the correct details and all the stuff condensed into one segment here today to make sense of stuff. So let's jump into it like we always do. So Evan and Nate talked about a whole bunch of stuff, and here's some key things to note of stuff that we've talked about in the past. They mentioned that Studio Series 86 Voyager class Thundercracker will be confirmed to have both his Starscream and Skywarp repaint redecos of that new tooling released at some point in 2026. 2026 will have the 3 core Seeker jets, the first Seekers, in 2026 for sure. So if you're interested, those guys will be happening. So Thundercracker obviously is the first one, and Starscream and Skywarp will come after the fact. Nate mentions that he also wants to see Sunstorm get some kind of official release, because Sunstorm unfortunately was kind of left out when it came to the Voyager Earthrise Starscream Seeker mold, if you want to call it that. So if Nate wants it, there's probably a better chance of that one happening at some point, but they know that there's plenty of Seekers coming at some point. They talked about our Studio Series Titan class Grimlock for 2026, and they mentioned that the next Studio Series Titan class for 2027 will indeed be another Age of Extinction Dinobot. Just they don't want to say which one just yet. I'm banking on a Transformers Slug podcast. I mean, a Transformers Slag podcast in this case. So Slag, I think, or Slug, as they like to call them, is probably going to be next in my opinion. At least that's what I think. They also showed again, but just in slightly better quality, the render for the upcoming Commander class. I guess we'll call it here the Age of the Primes Commander class Onslaught for our Bruticus. We don't have any other information or photos or stuff. I mean, this is pretty much just the same render we saw at San Diego Comic-Con, just it's in better quality here today to see all those little details. And they also mentioned when they were talking about the Retro Deluxe card back stuff that they are planning to continue it into 2027 with more waves, and to stay tuned for that. So there's stuff coming in 2026. There's stuff planned for 2027. It looks like they're enjoying this. This Walmart exclusive segmentation is doing quite well for Hasbro. So the big reveal of new stuff on top of everything else was, of course, the Transformers Timelines Feudal Japan, Optimus Prime, and Starscream. This continues from the Timelines collection that they started with Transformers Hearts of Steel with Optimus Prime and Starscream, Megatron and Bumblebee, these 2 little 2-packs. And this is a new one here. And this is just my own personal canon. This isn't official from Hasbro, but it's the kind of the way that I see it. You know, the Timeline Hearts of Steel was the Autobots crashing in the United States, Mount St. Hilary, but instead during the 1800s. So that's kind of what that represented with the Timeline's Heart of Steel. This time around with this Feudal Japan set, we have the Autobots crashing on Japan instead, possibly Mount Fuji, let's say. Let's go for the most, iconic mountain. Crashes into Mount Fuji, feudal era Japan, the 1200 AD, 1350 AD era, the beginning of feudal Japan, really. So that's kind of what's going on here. That's my own little canon, but I mean, when you really think about it, that's probably what happens. I made up the part about Mount Fuji and stuff, but, that's probably what'll happen. And then we have these 2 designs. 2 new designs. Again, they're continuing the same trend with the Hearts of Steel one. We have an Optimus with a Starscream, and there will be later on a Megatron with a Bumblebee, but we have the Optimus and the Starscream 2-pack here. The Starscream is based on a Yamabushi Japanese yokai, specifically the Tengu, and you could kind of see that in his designs and stuff with the wings. He has the Tengu fan, all the small little details and stuff, so nice little touch that kind of pulls from that, making the Decepticons be like these Onis or yokai or all these little mythical Japanese folklore creatures and stuff, and that's what kind of is probably also going to lead to their much more powerful beings and stuff and their ability to fly and everything, where the Autobots are going to be all samurai and more grounded and stuff like that. people are already noticing that it's obviously a extensive retool of the Kingdom Deluxe Class Air Razor. And at this point, prior to this Starscream, that tooling has seen redecos, retools, partials, up to 9 times already. Yeah, the bird was the word, or the pterodactyl, or the dragon, but it had a lot of repaints. A lot of repaints and retools and redecos and, all those repaints, and we still never got an official Blue Bolts repaint, oddly enough. I mean, there's a bootleg out there, but, yeah, so still waiting on that one from Takara or Hasbro. But the Starscream has some nice little details. You could see even like on the back of the Hawk mode, you could see his Seeker Jet boosters are sculpted in there. So even though he still is a beast, he has like the cues from what would be his jet one day. So that's pretty cool that that's molded in there. I think it looks great. I mean, it's something that's reaching that Seeker level of redecos and partials, so no surprise using King Seeker himself to be associated with that. So it is what it is. The Optimus Prime uses an interesting concept of it's an ox cart with trailer, and it really is invoking, hey, how do we make an Optimus Prime that is feudal Japan, that has a trailer that could be played into that? And, you have the ox, which is like a powerful, strong animal and stuff, and relied upon heavily in Japanese culture and most cultures in Eastern Asia and stuff. So, and then you have the cart that kind of represents the trailer from G1 or Roller. So that's a nice little visual touch going on there, and the coloring and everything. He comes with a naginata Japanese, like it's like a bow with a blade on the end. So that also is nice. The sculpting it kind of gives me a little bit of Power Master Optimus Prime or Star Convoy. Maybe that's just me because of the way they break the shoulders to the chest area. But I think it looks really good too. I like the head sculpt on it. I mean, it's a very unique idea, and it kind of opens up a whole different kind of story. I wonder if Skybound is open to maybe doing some fiction or comics or something. Give me a call. I'm kind of interested if they are. There's something that could be done here. And of course, beautiful packaging from Amy from Hasbro's design team. She did the Hearts of Steel sets, boxes too. It has that same kind of folding box with slipcase system. Very awesome. I like what's going on here. And I dig it. It's a unique idea. It's not based on anything that's been pre-existing before. I know that what a lot of people, probably the only sore point with this is using previous tooling with the Air Razor mold. But I think it works well with the whole Tengu thing, and it probably, if anything, keeps the cost down, because this 2-pack is going to be $59.99. And when you think about what deluxes cost now, which are reaching that $30 price point, I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It keeps it low. So I dig it. We have a $59.99 price point. No release date just yet, to be announced. And they did confirm that Bumblebee and Megatron will be the next pairing. And no doubt, this isn't confirmed, but just for me, no doubt, Bumblebee's going to be some kind of samurai, and Megatron's going to be some kind of Oni or demon or something. We will see with that. Then we got the Skybound Energon universe Optimus Prime that was teased. This is a retool, redeco, and partial of the front cab of the Optimus Prime portion of the Studio Series 86 Commander Class Optimus Prime. Again, based on the Skybound Energon universe stories. Don't want to get too much deep into it, and why does Optimus have a Megatron arm? Go read those comics. They're out there. There's trade paperbacks now, so there's easier ways to read it all in one shot if you don't want to pick up the individual issues. The description here mentions that his fusion cannon will be removable, so it'll be on a 5mm peg, so then it could still transform into the truck mode, and you could attach the fusion cannon still to the 5mm pegs that are exposed there. Comes with his ion blaster, comes with his matrix of leadership, and is claimed here to cost $79.99. So, I mean, kind of the same story. Commander classes that are supposed to be like $80, and this is going to be a commander class that's still $80. Maybe it's going to have the trailer too, and we're just not seeing it in these photos. That's what I'm assuming. We will see. We will see with that one. But that is interesting pricing right now, but maybe we're just not getting the full story just yet. And aside from that, the last thing that Evan and Nate mentioned is there's going to be a few dates to mark on your calendar for other reveals. The first one coming up will be the MCM London Comic-Con. That'll be October 24th to the 26th, 2025. That'll be the same weekend as TFCon Chicago. So if you're in the United States, you have TFCon Chicago. If you're in London, you have the MCM London show. They said they're going to try to have Timeline, Samurai, Bumblebee, and Megatron ready to debut there, but no promises. So that might be it. But otherwise, they're going to more or less show the same stuff that we saw just in person for that show. And then literally the week after that, they'll be at the Lucca Comics and Games Expo in Italy. So it'll be October 29th to November 2nd. They're doing a nice little Europe tour there while they're down there to show the items and stuff. No announcements if there'll be any big reveals there. And then they will be closing out the year with the CCXP Brazil Comic Expo. That'll be December 4th to the 7th, 2025. So again, if you're in South America near Brazil, you could also meet the Hasbro crew, and they'll bring some stuff there in person to check out too. So we got a few stuff going on over the next couple of months before the year is up, with Hasbro making reveals and convention appearances and bringing products in person. So stay tuned for that with those dates too. That's it more or less for New York Comic Con. And thanks again for listening to the Transformer Slag podcast and keeping you educated, entertained, and informed on everything going on in our beautiful Transformer world. Tomorrow will be the Transformer Saturday Night Live stream. So tune in Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. And we're going to recap the news, any new images, any new information we get, take some super chats from the fans, and just enjoy the evening like we always do. I hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks again for listening to the Transformer Slag podcast, and I'll talk to you in the near future.